So yeah, hi everyone, and today we're actually going to add some effects to this box, like a drop shadow, maybe color overlay or something like that. And this is actually very simple to do, so we're just going to make sure that you are selected on the certain layer, but make sure that the rectangle is on top. It's kind of like a hierarchy, so let's say we wanted to have this background on the top of this, then we basically just have to drag that on top, so any layer that is on top is shown. Always make sure that the smaller layers are always on the bottom of everything. So yeah, then let's say we want to add, like I said, effects to this box. So we click on the rectangle and go down to this effect icon, click on that, and then go blending options. So now this is where we have a bunch of options where we can mess around. So the first thing I like to do is to drop shadow, to have a little shadow behind this box. So we go to this option and click on drop shadow, and how you guys can see, we have some little shadow behind this box, but we can make it bigger. So we can make it bigger by increasing the size, and as you guys can see, the size, and then by increasing spread. So let's make the size a bit smaller. So yeah, I like this kind of shadow. So what else can we do? We can add a stroke. What is stroke? Stroke is basically like a little outline that goes around any object. So we can change the color. Let's make it, I don't know, green. So we also can increase the size of this stroke by dragging this, and also we can choose the position of this stroke. We can do it outside, as we can see here, and inside. So yeah, let's say we want it 10 pixels. It's okay. Okay, we can also do color overlay. What's color overlay? We can change the color of this object, of this layer, of this box, do it to whatever color we want. And yeah, we're not going to, I'm just gonna show you, like, as you guys can see, but I'm not gonna do it now, so we're going to just uncheck that. And a gradient overlay. So a gradient overlay is essentially, it kind of mixed colors instead of having one solid color. As you guys can see, there is some samples. This is a mixture of some black, gray, and white color, and there is a couple samples like this. So also we can change the colors of this gradient. So we can press this button and change the color between the other ones. So we have also here some Isaacish gradient colors. that I saved for my projects. I will show you these gradient samples in the blue book. So yeah, you can edit this gradient to whatever you want. So yeah, this is basically like the effect, the essential effects. They are so easy to know and use them. Now we actually going to input some image that we downloaded. So there are two ways we can do this. We can go to File, then Place, and choose this image. But this image will be inside of the other project. So let's say we undid this, and then we can go to File, Open, and then open this image. So it will be opened in the exact dimensions of the image itself, and that's the best way to do it if you want to edit a certain image instead of doing it inside of placing it inside of another project. But if you want to mix pictures in different pictures to one project, you can go to File, Place, and then file the image, and and work with two images in the same project. So we're gonna basically do some edits to this image. So the first thing we're going to do is actually duplicate this McLaren PY. So we're going to go to this tool right here, which is named Lasso tool, and as you guys can see down here, we have let's say thing that shows us if this picture is zoomed to original size. Here it shows 50%, so let's go 100%. As you guys can see, this tool will zoom our image. The reason why we go to 100% because we will have to cut this McLaren PY from this image with a lasso tool. So now we're just going to outline this McLaren by this tool. So we're going starting from here and we're going this way. We're going to do a bit of sloppy job here. All you have to do is just click and drag this image, this tool, sorry. Yeah, if it will be some serious project, I would zoom it to, I don't know, 600 percentage and then outline it, but it's just to show you how this tool works. So yeah, actually it's the end. So let's unlock this background as I showed you. We can duplicate this McLaren by pressing Ctrl C button and then Ctrl V button. Let's go to 50%. Yeah, as you guys can see, we duplicated this McLaren, and we can name this McLaren 1 and McLaren 2. And if we hide this layer, we can hide layers by clicking on this little eye icon. We can see that we can see just outline of the McLaren itself, and then the background is just transparent. As I told you guys before, on this checker sort of things, it's indicate that the background is transparent. So let's just bring the background back. And how, as you guys can see, we have this McLaren here. So we can click on this tool, move tool, and move it how we want. So let's say we want this McLaren facing this McLaren. So how we're gonna make it? We must press Ctrl T button, and we can go to width and height, and just add a little minus symbol to 100%. Yeah, as you guys can see, it's negative way of direction of this McLaren. We can also do this like with this kind of things, but the easiest and the best way to doing that is how I showed, to add some minus, and that's all. And we can also change our rotation of this McLaren, as I showed before, like something like this. Yeah, I like it. So looks pretty cool. That just two little McLarens on facing each other off. So what we are going to do now, we can do some effects. Let's say like a drop shadow. Let's make it this color, just to show how it works. Yeah, now we're actually going to do is to make a adjustment layer, and basically we're going to mess around with the color correction, the exposure, everything to make this image looks as nice as possible. So the way we are going to do this, it's to go to layer and then to new adjustment layer, then add the brightest contrast layer. So yeah, we can name it here like the other layers. We can indicate it with some color, I don't know. Okay, so as you guys can see, this is the first adjustment layer. Now adjustment layers basically are just like editing layers. There are no visible, they are basically just the visual aspect of this project. So we are going to go to contrast, and we can increase or decrease the contrast. So if we decrease the contrast, it looks a lot more like washed up. If we increased, it looks a lot more like vivid. So we're gonna make it, let's just say 40. Looks good, yeah. And then we can increase the brightness or a little decrease it. If we decrease it, it looks pretty nice. Too much brightness doesn't look very good in my opinion. So let's go actually -7. Yeah, that's cool. So now that looks, I can show you how it looked before. Yeah, now it looks pretty good. So now we're gonna add another adjustment layer. So the next adjustment layer will be levels. So as you guys can see here, we can face with too much samples where you can mess up, but we're gonna actually select our sample. So you can click darker, increase contrast, lighter, midtones brighter, and midtones darker. So I think midtones darker like looks pretty cool, and it is quite dark. So we can actually go back to this layer and increase some brightness. Alright, that looks pretty cool now. So the next things we are going to do is to add new adjustment layer. We can add a color lookup. So this layer, it's basically like a filters that make your project look a certain way. Let's see. So many samples here. Abstract, I don't know. So yeah, it looks pretty good. So thank you guys. In the next video we will work with text. See you guys.